We are going to go over some steps and vocabulary for our Module 16 mastery check. So number one, we're using this dot plot. So we're going to use this dot plot for the entire thing. So the first one is the peak. The peak is the highest point, kind of like the mode or the most common. It's the one that happens the most, right? Like the peak of a mountain. Okay, a gap is when we have a space in between something. So where can we see a space in between dots? So this isn't a space because there's nothing over here. That's just the end. So where can you see a gap or a space, a number that doesn't have any dots above it? Okay, a cluster, when things are clustered together, they are grouped together. So a group, so I can see that this one has two groups. There's this smaller group here, and then there's this other group here. So we should have this group and this group here. Then the range is the difference from the biggest dot to the littlest dot. So the numbers. So it's not 10 because there's no dot above 10. So our biggest dot, what's the difference to get to the littlest dot? And then our outlier is if we have a dot that's all the way out by itself. If we have a dot that doesn't really fit in, it's all alone, all by itself. There's no other dots near it. So you can have no outlier if there's dots. All the dots are by each other. So go ahead and fill those out using that vocabulary. Okay, number two, we're going to create a box plot of the data. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to list all of the dots in order. So we have a 2, we have a 3, then another 3. So go ahead and finish listing your dots. So go ahead and pause, list out the dots. You should have 12 numbers when you're done. So here's what our data now looks like. 2, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7. So should have 12 numbers here. So there was 12 dots. Now we're going to find that middle of them. So we're going to rainbow out and find our matches. And because we know we have 12, we know we're going to have 2 left in the middle. So finding what's left in the middle is 5 and 5. So the middle of 5 and 5 is 5. So we're going to mark on 5. Then we need to split that. Since we had 2, we're going to split. We're going to go 1 to this side and 1 to this side. So we're going to split that down the middle. So splitting it. So now we have this front half of the data and the back half of the data. So we gave 1 5 to this side, 1 5 to that side. We're splitting it. So now we can look and see. So here we're going to find the middle of the front to find the front box. And match. So we have 3 and 5. So the middle of 3 and 5 is what number? So if I'm looking here, right, what's in between 3 and 5 is 4. So we're going to mark a line there. Now we're going to find the middle of the back half to finish our last box. So we can see a match here, a match here. The middle of 6 and 6 is 6. So we're going to connect those to make our boxes here. So there's our boxes. So we should have a line on 4, 5, and 6. Middle of the middle, middle of the front, middle of the back. Now we put those stems out. So this one, our lowest number is 2, and we're going to connect it. So look and see what is the biggest number, and you're going to do the same thing to the back half. So I'm going to let you finish that part. So we're finding our biggest number is 7, putting our dot, and connecting it there. So there's our box plot with our 4 sections that we created. Okay, next up, we are going to find the mean of the data. So we need to take these numbers here that we just listed out. So we're going to write them again. So we have 2, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those. So we have all 12 of our numbers, and we're going to find the mean. So remember, that means we're adding them up and then dividing them back out. So we're going to add them up And then we're going to divide by 12 because we're going to add up 12 numbers. So I'm going to let you do that. You should come out to a nice whole number. So add up all the numbers, divide by 12, come back when you have an answer. So when we add these all up, we should get 60 as our total. We're dividing it by 12 because there were 12 dots. So that is a mean of 5. So if we were able to spread them out perfect and level them out, they would all get 5. So now we're going to find the mean absolute deviation. So we're going to do 3 steps to do that. We've already done step 1 and we already found the mean was 5. So now second is we're going to find the absolute value. So we're going to say, what is the distance from the dot to the number 5? So we need to make a list of those 12 answers here. So I know that 2 has a distance to get to 5 of 1, 2, 3. So we list it. Then we're on this 3 dot. It has a distance of 1, 2. We're just saying the distance from the number to 5. So there's a 2, and then we have another 3, has a distance of 2. Now we don't have any 4s. So to get from 5 to 5, we don't have to move at all. So all those 5s are going to be 0, 0, 0. So all of those are 0. Then to get from 6 to 5 is a distance of 1. So I have 3 6s. Those are all 1s, 1s, 1s. And then to get from 7 to 5 is a distance of 1, 2. So that 7 is a 2. And that 7 is a 2. So we found the mean. We listed all their absolute values to get to the mean. How far away are the numbers away from the mean? And now we're going to find the deviation, which is just the mean again. We're now going to find the mean of these numbers. So we're going to add these all up. So you're going to add these up. So adding them up. And then there's still 12 numbers. You're going to divide that by 12. You can use a calculator and it's going to keep on going. It's a decimal number. So give me the first couple decimal places. You can also round it to the nearest tenth. So you can use your calculator, add those up, divide it by 12. That's your answer. So that tells you how spread out the numbers are. Should be a pretty small number because those are all pretty little numbers. And we're dividing it by 12, so they're not very spread out. So there you go. So get your mastery check done and get it checked off.